One of the things that can happen while you're turning, or even while you're stuffing, especially wool felt. I mean, wool felt is durable, and it does give, but sometimes it'll give a little too much. And you can see right here that when I did this when I was turning, I kind of poked a hole into the wool felt. Now, sometimes you may have to start over and just cut out a whole new one, resew it, all that stuff. This particular piece, I'm not going to throw it away. I'm actually going to still use it. The one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stuff it nice and stiff like this other one is. See how that's nice and stiff? I'm going to go ahead and stuff this one the same way. And because this leg is going to be on the back side of my ghost like that, you can't see the hole is back here. I'm just going to sew it using just some matching thread. I'm just going to repair that hole. Otherwise, if it were on the front, say this is on the front like that, and you had the hole, you would want to maybe cut a little piece of square like plaid fabric and sew on like a little patch so that he looks like he's patched up, you know. And then you could do the same thing for his other leg over here. You could make it match and then maybe put a patch on his body. It may not be the way you intended to start out the project, but that doesn't mean that we need to throw this away and get rid of it. It's a way that we can go ahead and still use what we've done and save ourselves the time and the step of having to start all over. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish stuffing this to make it look like this, and then I'm just going to take a few stitches and close that opening up, and then we'll be done. You gotta try to be a little careful going around it. You don't want to make that hole any bigger, so just, you know, try to work around it. You know, some of the stuffing may end up you know, poking out a little bit, but it'll be okay because we can always push it down back inside. But you can see it's doing pretty good. There's my little hole. You can see where the stuffing's at and where I'm stuffing. It's not too bad, but I think if I just take a couple little stitches, it'll you won't even be able to hardly tell that it was even there. But just be careful not to make the hole any bigger, and then that way, you know, it's no big deal. You don't have to start over. You can still use your piece, but I know it can get frustrating, so just don't give up on it. Alright, so I've done stuffing this little foot here, this leg and foot, and here's the hole. I need to kind of take a few stitches. So all I'm going to do is actually going to, here's my thread, I've got some matching thread. I'm going to actually start in the seam back here and then come out. Alright, and all I did was make one little knot in the thread because I didn't want it to be real bulky, but you can see you can barely even tell that it's there in the seam. The knot is right there. And then when I pull it into the seam, it's right there. You can't even tell that it's there. I always like to leave a long tail because what we're going to do is we're going to hide the tails. We're not going to clip right next to it. We're going to hide these tails. I'm just going across kind of like a satin stitch. Taking a few stitches to cover up that hole or close in that hole. Now I'm sticking it back in and come out where I had started, and I'm gonna make a knot. So I'm holding on to the threads. I'm just making the loop here to tie a knot and tie it all the way down. And then I like to do this twice. Doing it again. Tighten it all the way down like that. Okay, so now when you're done with that, what do you do with this? Well, we're going to show you how to hide the threads. Make sure they're nice and clipped. If you need to, make sure they're nice and clipped. Then you're going to thread them on. If you miss one, just pull the other ones and then find the one you missed and thread it. Alright, so I have them all threaded on that needle. See that? They're all in there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, hanging on to it like that, and where I started, I'm going to go back in and then just come out somewhere else. You see? So I'm going in kind of next to that knot, and I'm coming out about an inch away or so, and I'll pull those threads all the way through. So now they're like that. Now they're way over here. You can see where the knot is right there. It kind of hides in the seam. So all you got to do now is you pull those nice and tight. Take your scissors and cut. And then stretch it back out, and you don't even know that you did it. They're gone. Now why did I do that? There's the little knot. The threads are way back here. Because I pulled them real tight, once I cut them, they went back inside. If I would have cut my threads real close here, then I have a chance of this knot unraveling and just all coming undone. If you leave the tail and it's hidden inside here, then you don't have to worry about your knot coming undone or clipping your knot and cutting your knot off and then having to start all over. So that's how we do a hidden thread tails.